For centuries, the question of how Vikings navigated thousands of miles across the icy northern seas without the use of a compass remained a mystery. Recent archaeological discoveries suggest their navigation skills may have been far more advanced than previously believed. In the harsh conditions of the North Atlantic, where fierce winds and dense fog were common, how did these legendary seafarers find their way with such remarkable precision? The answer lay hidden in the Norse sagas, in tales of a magical object called the sólarsteinn. The Sunstone modern spectroscopy analysis of Viking artifacts reveals these stones were carefully selected for their optical properties. What was once dismissed as mere myth was later proven by modern science to be a real and sophisticated navigational tool that predated modern optical instruments by nearly a millennium. From the 8th century onward, Vikings embarked on daring voyages in their sleek longships, exploring the coasts of Europe and eventually reaching as far as Greenland and even North America. Recent dendrochronological studies of Viking ship timbers show they undertook these voyages with astonishing regularity. At a time when the magnetic compass had not yet reached Europe, sailors relied heavily on celestial navigation. But what did they do during the long polar winters when the sun remained below the horizon? For weeks, this was where the Vikings' ingenious method came into play. The Sunstone new research suggests they may have combined this technology with sophisticated star navigation techniques during prolonged darkness. In 1967, the discovery of a calcite crystal and the wreckage of a Viking ship confirmed that the Sunstone was more than just legend. Subsequent finds in multiple archaeological sites proved these were standard equipment on Viking vessels. Research revealed that these crystals could refract light in such a way that the sun's position could be detected even when hidden behind clouds or just below the horizon. Advanced computer simulations now show how Viking navigators could determine latitude using these stones. By rotating the stone, Viking navigators observed the changing brightness of two refracted images, aligning them to pinpoint the sun's exact location with mathematical precision. Modern experiments have shown this technique to be accurate up to 95, proving that the Vikings unknowingly harnessed principles of optical physics that wouldn't be formally understood until the 19th century. How the Vikings discovered this scientific principle remains a topic of heated debates among historians. Some historians argue that it was the result of generations of careful observation, noting how Viking mythology contains remarkably accurate descriptions of optical phenomena. Others speculate that the knowledge may have been passed down from earlier civilizations through trade routes extending to the Middle East. The ancient Egyptians and Greeks had some understanding of light refraction, but the Vikings' practical application of this knowledge in open ocean navigation was unparalleled in the ancient world. Perhaps their mastery came from a deep connection with nature honed through years of seafaring experience that taught them to read subtle patterns in light and weather invisible to land dwellers. Yet the Sunstone was only one part of the Vikings' remarkably sophisticated navigation system. These skilled sailors read the natural world like a map, tracking ocean currents through subtle temperature changes, interpreting wind patterns by the feel of salt spray, following the flight paths of seabirds with uncanny accuracy, and detecting even subtle changes in water color that indicated shifting depths or approaching land. Seabirds in particular were reliable indicators of nearby land, with Viking navigators reportedly able to distinguish between species that never ventured far from shore. The Sunstone was reserved for the most challenging conditions, such as the blinding whiteness of polar ice or thick fog, where traditional methods failed. Recent discoveries suggest they may have used whale behavior and even the smell of the sea as additional navigational aids. In 2011, French researchers conducted exhaustive experiments confirming that the Sunstone method worked even in stormy, overcast conditions that would baffle modern sailors. Their laboratory tests successfully replicated the Vikings' technique using calcite crystals under controlled conditions, simulating various weather scenarios. Even more intriguing, a similar crystal was found in the wreck of a 16th century Elizabethan ship, suggesting that this navigational knowledge persisted long after the Viking Age as a closely guarded trade secret among northern European mariners. It seems this optical trick was a well-kept secret among mariners for centuries, passed down through generations of ship captains until being supplanted by more modern instruments. New evidence suggests Basque whalers may have preserved this knowledge, longest using it in their Arctic hunts. How has modern technology adopted and expanded upon this ancient wisdom? Today, advanced aircraft and ships use polarization-based systems for navigation that operate on similar principles, though with digital precision. Military researchers have studied Viking techniques to develop backup navigation systems for submarines. Even in nature, creatures like bees and certain insects detect polarized sunlight to orient themselves, suggesting the Vikings tapped into a fundamental optical principle of our planet. The Vikings' 1,000-year-old discovery remains one of nature's most fascinating navigation methods, now inspiring new technologies in robotics and autonomous vehicle navigation. Scientists are currently developing bio-inspired navigation systems based on these ancient principles. Some researchers believe Viking shamans used these crystals not just for navigation, but also in religious and mystical rituals, possibly as part of initiation ceremonies for young navigators. A 2020 study even proposed that Vikings may have developed methods to detect changes in Earth's magnetic field using specially prepared lodestones in combination with their sunstones. If true, this would force us to completely rethink our understanding of Viking technology and their knowledge of geophysics. Were they far more advanced than we ever imagined, possessing a holistic understanding of natural forces that blended practical navigation with spiritual understanding? Ongoing excavations at Viking sites continue to uncover artifacts that challenge our assumptions about medieval technology. The legend of the Sunstone reminds us that ancient peoples possess knowledge we are only now beginning to understand through modern science. The Vikings were master observers of nature, blending intuition with practical innovation in ways that continue to astonish researchers. Their achievements force us to reconsider what primitive technology truly means. What other secrets might we uncover about their understanding of the natural world? How does their ancient wisdom, born of necessity and acute observation, compare to our modern technology-dependent navigation systems? These questions become increasingly relevant as we develop new technologies that may one day combine ancient wisdom with cutting-edge science. If you're fascinated by these hidden histories of innovation and want to explore more examples of ancient technologies that predate modern science, don't forget to subscribe. In our next video, we'll explore the lost energy technologies of ancient Egypt, including recent discoveries about possible ancient power sources in the Great Pyramid. Share your thoughts in the comments. Your insights might shed new light on these ancient mysteries. Have you ever encountered traditional navigation methods in your own experiences? Thank you for joining us on this journey through time as we continue to uncover humanity's forgotten technological heritage.